Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Tooele Happy Hour podcast, starring Jared Anderson and David Weiss, where if head trauma had a podcast, this is what it would sound like. Welcome, Neil. He's the mayor of Grantsville. He's our guest tonight. Neil, introduce yourself to our wonderful audience.
I'm Neil Critchlow, been the mayor of Grantsville since the January of 2022, and I sure appreciate the opportunity to come on this and kind of explain some of the things that's going on right now. We got some things in the air, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So our girls softball from the high school, if they win one game tomorrow, they're the state champs again.
Really? Grantsville's produced Grantsville for a number of years had tennis on lock. Kind of feels like they've rolled into having softball on lock. Really performing young ladies out of that town.
They are tremendous athletes. You know, I went up a couple of years ago, and this girl reached up. That they were just hitting balls during practice, and the ball was almost over the fence, and she dove up in the air, got it. She threw that ball back on a string to that third baseman, and I thought, that would hurt your hand to catch that. Just a talented kid. But I'll tell you, between the softball and the girls wrestling.
Now, you know, I haven't seen anything about the girls wrestling. Fill us in on that.
Two-time state champions dominate the other schools, and the girls that they have coming back, if they would have used just their points, would have won it again. Okay, so I'm pretty. They're awesome.
You're going to scare the young boys from the rest of the state away from Grantsville.
You know, that's. So I was talking about the girls wrestling team, and this guy says, "Well, I don't want to come in and mess with those girls." And I just pointed at the wall because one of the Miss Grantsville. She's one of the girl wrestlers.
Oh, really? A pretty girl in a pretty ball gown and.
Oh yeah, I says, you have no idea what these kids are. They're so talented, you know. And the one girl, Vanessa, she is the first girls wrestler that received a scholarship. She's going to Iowa.
Really?
To wrestle.
And Iowa is a wrestling school.
Yeah, and I guess the coach that's the coach there, he's big time, you know. So I'm so excited for that young lady because she's gonna represent us well in Iowa.
That's fantastic.
Neil, how long have you had a girls wrestling team in Grantsville?
3 years. This is the first year this is the second year they competed for the state. They had enough girls to compete for the state championship, and the year before, 2 years ago, they just pummeled people, and last year they just pummeled people. It's just amazing. I'm just so proud of them. You know,
who's the coach?
Well, Coach Meekum, who's up to the high school.
Okay.
Nathan Gardner. There's about 4 coaches, and I wish I could remember all their names off the top of my head. They're the girls and the boys coaches. And like last year, this last season, as we were sending them off to the state championship, we had the crowd go down there, and we had a tunnel for the kids to walk out to get on the buses to go to this thing. So much community support. It's amazing.
That's fantastic.
It's fabulous. Yeah.
That really is fantastic. I love it. I like hearing that. And I mean, and that's another boon for Grantsville. And then I read Amy Christiansen. Another young lady from Well, she's my age, but
she's young.
In the Olympics.
Compared to the white-haired guy, she's young.
Yeah. She competed in the Olympics, and
yeah.
I read the other day that her daughter is in shot put, and her daughter is wants to do it, and now she's training her daughter, and that'd be another boon for us. That'd be fantastic.
It is. And can you imagine having Amy be able to coach, these kids in this?
Goodness, the skill that she has.
Yeah.
Oh. Now imagine if she decided to wrestle.
But she goes to Stansbury High. We don't want her wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
We want her in Grantsville. That's what we'd rather have. So,
yeah,
we got a lot. There's a lot of good things in our town that are just it's impressive what's happening.
Oh, yeah, Grantsville. Well, not to mention, I mean, for anyone who doesn't know Grantsville, I call it the Grantsville Triangle. Always has the best weather in this county. It doesn't matter what's going on. The weather's better in Grantsville always.
The banana belt.
It really is. It's a crazy town. So
we had a business that was looking at us to come in. I'm not sure where we're going to get them or not, but I says, I need you to understand that if you move to Grantsville, you're moving into the banana belt.
Mm-hmm.
And they had this really confused look on their face. I says, we'll get an inch of snow and Twilla will get 18.
Yep.
And I says, we're good. We keep it in the mountains where it's supposed to be.
Where it's supposed to be. It really is in a sweet spot down there.
It is.
It really is. So, the big question, how's the flooding? What are we looking at down there?
Man, I'll tell you, I watch the USGS stream flow report probably 10 times a day because I'm seeing how fast it goes up, and we are our public works guy took tour with the irrigation people the other day up past where the cabin is up there. The snow was clear up onto the hill. We only really have the really high stuff up there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot still. We had a meeting with the guy from the National Weather Service or whatever he does. But anyway, we still have 25 inches of water to come down. That's a lot of water.
That is.
But it's so high. And we have the situation in tow here where, as it comes down, people are using the reservoir, keeping it down. That gives us some room to put water if we need it, which we didn't have in 84.
No.
Okay, we didn't have that. And with cooperation of the Twilla Army Depot, we owe those people. We really do. So, Jared, you pass that, or not Jared, Dave, you pass that along for me, will you?
Will do. Will do.
What has the Army Depot been doing to help alleviate it?
Well, they have made sure that the culverts are clear, making sure that the wash that the water's going to come into is clear, and we have a place to put it out. The design is to go out to Hidden Valley.
Okay.
Now, if people don't know what Hidden Valley is, it's pretty amazing. Have you been out there, Jared?
I have, yeah.
How big is that thing? That's huge, right?
It looks tiny when you're down there heading towards Johnson's Pass.
Yeah.
But once you get in there, it really opens up. It's got the proper name, Hidden Valley. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So we got what we're doing is we're keeping the water to a certain point. Then we'll open the valves and we'll run water into Hidden Valley. Now, Hidden Valley, and when that drains out, we'll close the valves and the water runs into Hidden Valley, seeping into the ground. And so it's going into the aquifer. And
that's where we want it.
Yep.
That's where we want it. And so we're able to kind of leapfrog this water out to there. And so hopefully we're not flooding. We've got sandbags and stuff staged up there, but I'm really pretty confident, I hope, that we don't need them, that we'll just take those sandbags and use them somewhere else. We'll take them down the arena, put them in there for the kids to ride their horses on, dump the sand out. But it really is good. The flooding we had in Grantsville was the result of Magpie and Baker, and the water that was coming down there. We've taken some to our gravel pit, which will hold a lot of water, and then some of it was going down and going into the detention basins up above town here.
Mhm.
Well, the one detention basin, the drain was actually about 2 feet higher than the bank. You can't see that on the camera, but it's about 2 feet higher than the bank, so it wasn't going to drain at all. So the developer came in. They called him, and he came up, and he lifted those pieces up. We slid some 4x4, so it actually drained that detention basin, which went into the next detention basin, which went down through. And then we're taking it. We didn't have to shut down Main Street at all. We're running it under that culvert that's out there and taking it down. And we filled up a basin that's down on Erickson Estates, which is the old place down there on Cooley Street. And then we're taking it, we changed it, switched it, and it's going to go down to the Clark Farm. And we'll use that to, if it runs again, it'll go onto the Clark Farm, and we'll water those fields with it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we have a plan. It's in place, and our public works guy, the irrigation company, the depot, these guys have really got us prepared for this. I'm pretty happy with everything. I tell everybody, listen, we prayed for snow for a long time, and we finally got it. And I says, I need you to pray that we're not going to waste it. That's the thing. So we'll use as much as we can.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to do. So
How's Grantsville's pothole problem going?
on the Mormon Trail, we're trying to get that one fixed. It's always on that loaded side of the Mormon Trail, which is the east side.
Yep.
That's when the biggest potholes are.
The guy's heading north.
Yeah. That road was just never meant for double gravel trucks. And
No.
we got a bill that got passed in the legislature that said that these gravel pits, that we can tax the gravel, the sales portion of the sales tax that would go to the concrete of the gravel portion of that, we get that will go into ours because it's coming out of our county. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. And that's good.
We've talked about that a couple times on our show with Bridger.
Instead of just the tax recovery going to the other side of the mountain where they're building all the houses with it.
Right.
Some of it gets retained here to upkeep. And we got to give Bridger a shout out, another Grantsville person that.
Hallelujah. He did a really good job.
Not only is he proffering this bill, but it affects him personally. He owns a gravel hauling business, and he's willing to, put his money where his mouth is and deal with that because he cares about the status of his town and his county and everything else.
Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of people that would do that, you guys.
There is not.
Bridger is, he's got it together, and I think that with between Bridger and Tim, we got some good representation here.
Boy, did we get lucky. There is no better represented county in the United States.
Yeah, both of those guys are great.
So. Yes. So where are your sandbag filling stations in Grantsville?
Well, we just got the one now up there by the Public Works. Okay, it's on the north side of the Public Works. We actually, the day that we started having a little bit of a flood up there, I just put out on Facebook that, hey, I need some help. I had 400 people show up filling sandbags.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. And within an hour, the football coach put out the thing to his players, says, you go down there now and start filling sandbags. I had the football team was down here filling and throwing sandbags for me.
That's great. Outstanding.
You just go, amazing. It's just amazing that what the support we got within an hour. We had that thing taken care of, and we learned some things. We did, and it wasn't big enough to really hurt things, but we learned some details, and so we're just trying to get that. We're lessons learned, and we're going to take those to heart.
That's good. That's good. Oh, and I got to make a quick correction. Earlier, I said Amy Christiansen. Her name now
Amy Palmer
is Amy Palmer. Yes,
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Well, that's for the people listening, and for Amy. I mean, no disrespect to her or her husband. People who I grew up with, and very fine people.
Yeah.
But yeah,
are you their age, Jared?
I am a year younger.
Hmm.
Yes.
See, I grew up as I grew up knowing Amy's dad, Punchy. What a funny man.
Yep, Punchy.
People have no idea, but he really is a good heart. He had a good heart. I mean, we all have flies on us, but he's a good man.
Yeah. Punchy, for anyone out there wondering, was about as tough a human being as could be provided. Just, he was a cowboy. He was a rough one.
He's a rough and tough guy, and we appreciated him.
Yep.
I will tell you this. I went down when I was running on the ambulance, went down to the bar. Guy had the holy tar beat out of him. And we were plugging the holes on that guy. And I asked the cop, I says, man, who did this? And they says, oh, it's Punchy. So, because I've known Punchy since I was a little kid. And I walked over and says, man, Punchy, you really hurt this guy. And he goes, this is a life lesson. He wasn't very smart, was he? How many times can you use that in your life?
I'll tell you, I've been reminiscing about Grantsville. And Grantsville, one day we should do a show on the history of Grantsville. Just the people and the things that happened there. I mean, Grantsville had an airport, had a upstart airline company. Cowboy Bob alone would be worthy of 7 or 8 shows.
You're right.
Yeah.
The Eddies, the Skyline,
So who was there first, Tooele or Grantsville?
Well, Grantsville originally was called 20 Wells.
I don't know. Did they send did Brigham Young send the pioneers to Tooele first or to Grantsville?
I'm sure they both came out at the same time. And Tooele got its major boom during the mining.
Yes.
Grantsville was more agriculture, but I think Grantsville might be a little bit older. Had an old frontier fort down there, originally what it was.
Yeah, right there on the corner of Main or Clark and Cooley.
Yep, Clark and Cooley circled up and around.
Yeah. This is where the Donner Party spent some time.
Yeah,
they were waiting for what is the guide that was supposed to take them. Anyway, they were waiting for him. He never came.
Oh, so. Hastings.
Hastings.
They were waiting for Hastings. Hastings never planned on coming. But this was the Donner Party's last comfortable night. That's what Grantsville was. After that, it was all charging across the salt flats to Pilot's Peak and then freezing.
I can't imagine that.
They're tough people.
Those were tough people, yeah.
Oh,
they
yeah.
were. Yeah.
Yeah,
we have such a rich history here in our community. I mean, all the things that's happened here.
Yep.
I've got an interesting question for you from a listener, Neil. So, I'm sure you're aware of the flag controversy. One of the questions I have here in our threads, we have a listener who wants to know why we are flying the beehive flag in Grantsville.
Well, in Grantsville at City Hall is the new flag.
Mm-hmm.
At the fire station is the beehive flag.
Yep, and also at the Justice Center is the old flag.
Yep, and sitting at the flags in the council room is the beehive flag. When we finally get word that the other one's the official flag, we'll go. But at this point, it says it's supposed to be a ceremonial flag. The beehive flag is, and
yeah, talk about I don't know. I'm going to go with whatever anyone else wants, but let's just make it happen. Because right now everyone's in limbo. We went to the Republican convention, and that's a contentious argument there. And I don't know. I hope we can get that one sorted out sometime.
Yeah. But we're flying the new one at City Hall, but we're keeping the old one, and the history with that one. So kind of both ways. Do you think that answered their question, Dave?
Yeah, we'll find out, I'm sure.
Yeah. So
call, send another message if that didn't answer.
Yeah. So what else is going on in Grantsville? You going to start up the Mayor's Minute soon?
Yeah. I'm about ready to retire. I've been doing a few of them, but we're going to do more.
Good.
And kind of get those taken care of. That's just to pass a little information on to people.
Mm-hmm.
I know we have some businesses that want to move in, which I'm excited for, and we're going to try to get those businesses here. I mean, we really need them. We need a variety of different businesses, and no matter what it is. So.
Anything you can tell us about, like anything exciting, like a spaghetti Italian restaurant or Red Lobster?
I wish. We need an Italian one,
right?
Yeah, we got some good ones, but we need the variety. But there's some things that are in the works. I hope is coming soon. As soon as I can, I will pass that along to you.
You just don't want to get us all hopeful.
Is there any businesses possibly bringing in some decent middle class jobs? Looking at it,
yes. But the Lakeview Business Park, the one we're trying for, man, if we get that one, you guys, that would be really a boom to us as a community. The one business they would bring 500 jobs.
Ooh.
Very quickly. And, average pay is like 27, I think is what they said.
And where's this at? Where's the Lakeview Business Park?
It's the one that Romneys are doing up, the Romney Group's doing up there by the complex.
Okay.
And if we get that one, oh boy, that would be huge for us. And that's one of those flagship things that if they build, then the other businesses will come with them that support them. So I mean, we're looking at a lot of jobs if we can just get this one thing. And so we're trying to. I've done all the salesmanship I can on that one. So it's just about dollars and cents at this point, and with the economy kind of the way that it is, it's may cause them to delay it for a while. But there's a couple more businesses that are up there. One, they're building one that's like 5 stories high. That's has some good jobs with that one, but it's not we're reviewing the plans. We know where we need to be with it. They have all the permits that they're going to need, and then it'll go to work. So a lot of construction jobs as they do that. When they're finished with it, it'll be a good addition for the jobs in our community.
Is 5 stories the highest building that we have in the area?
Oh yeah. Walmart's not that tall.
Mhm.
Walmart DC.
Yeah.
Walmart DC is 1,000,000 square feet, and about 5 stories is the highest thing we got. So that'll be it.
I think you're right. That would be all of it.
Yeah. So they had to place that so it didn't mess with the flight zone of the airport.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah.
Okay.
That was all. There's been a lot of things happening to make sure that they could come to Grantsville, and we didn't mess with the airport. We didn't, things could still be. The FAA is pretty strict. They're very strict.
Mhm.
Really? Yeah.
Which airport are you referring to?
The ERDA airport.
Yeah. The municipal.
It's Salt Lake City airport. Salt Lake City owns that airport as well. So the buildings that are built up there from the old dump down has to be a certain height and have to, so the flight path the airplanes can make it without crashing into them, I guess. And the airport that'll be something that's coming where we are trying to help them get some sewer and water so they can actually they have plenty of water in a well. And so they need to be able to get a drink and flush a toilet. And so without costing anybody in Grantsville anything, I mean, we're going to charge them impact fees and all those things that go with that. But we're going to allow them to flow what little that they do to Grantsville so that we can allow this airport to expand and, function the way that it's supposed to. Our firefighting aircraft that come in and out and land over there, they'll still use water out of the well to to mix their magic formulas to drop on the fire, but they need a place to
offload Class 6.
Well, they need to have a place so they can have a place to rest and have a restroom and some water to drink.
Mm-hmm.
These guys were bringing out trailers and parking them there for, the summertime, and they're going to build BLM's going to put a building out there that's going to be a lot of money to build it, and that'll give them a headquarters there to land those firefighting aircraft. So that's kind of a good thing for us in that we're just helping the county. I mean, it's in ERDA, but I'm just going to tell you that ERDA doesn't have any way to deal with the sewer out there. And so Salt Lake City's got a lot of money that they're going to pour into this to get it designed, and we're not going to pay anything for it. We're just going to be willing to allow them to do that. And like I said, they'll pay impact fees. We're not giving our water away. We're not, none of those things. It's not going to affect our city negatively.
That's good.
Good.
That's good. What else? Is there anything else going on in Grantsville? Is there cleanup days, anything like that you want to announce?
We have cleanup days, and we're placing roll-off hoppers at different places through the city, at the Hollywood Park one part of the time, and down by the arena, and down by Public Works, so people can bring their cleanup stuff and put them in there, and then we'll haul it up to the dumps, get it taken care of. But that'll give people a chance to clean up their yards.
Where can people go to find out the schedule and location?
It is on our city website, on our city webpage. You go to there, and one of the very first things when you click onto it, we'll tell you here's the cleanup roll-off sites that you can get to and what day they're going to be there. We have that, and we have Hollywood Park. we're expanding the parking lot at Hollywood Park. We got a grant for that, and we're expanding that parking lot so we have more parking up there. Because at this point, there's not enough when people are doing the splash pad and stuff. And I want to make sure they're not on the streets and they're in there safely. And so that project's starting, ready to go now. So we're going to do that. And we had some money, and we're going to build pickleball courts, and they're going to be at Cherry Street, the Cherry Street Park.
Okay.
Just on the north side of the Cherry Street Park by the tennis courts. We made sure it doesn't affect the high school soccer field that's there.
Mm-hmm.
It won't interfere with that. That will have lights and fences, and so you're not hitting the ball out into the thing. We had one, but there was no fence around it. Half the time people were hitting the ball into the neighbors' yards. And I've never played pickleball. How about you guys?
I haven't. I've heard it's fun, but
Yeah, people rave about it everywhere I go around here.
It's like old people tennis, I guess.
I watched things on YouTube, and these guys are young kids, and they're whacking it around pretty hard.
Well, that means they're ruining old people tennis and making it competitive.
That's right. So when we do that, when we get this finished and we open it, you guys will have to come down and do a show from down there.
Yeah. We'll need to come down and get together and start doing shows again anyway, just to get out and about and have a look at stuff. And and to hear that there might possibly be a substantial business coming in that's going to hire that many people, that'd sure be a boon for the whole county.
Yes, it would.
That'd be fantastic.
The more cars we can take from going into Salt Lake, going around that mountain, the better off it is for everybody.
Yeah.
That's a mess over there, coming and going.
It is. It's awful.
Hey, Neil, let me ask you this. Working with the Romney Group on this project, what's your impression of the Romney Group?
You know what? They have a good philosophy as far as we're going to get good businesses in. We're going to bring jobs to Grantsville. We're, all of those things. They're in it to make money, just like everybody should. They're not doing it as a welfare thing for us, but it really is, in the long run, going to pay off for Grantsville. If those buildings get built that they have planned, there will be a lot of jobs and a lot of tax revenue, and that will help Grantsville in a lot of different places.
Yeah. We do need to bring more jobs out here. We need some good manufacturing middle industry too out in the county.
Yes. We the one that they're building, the 5-story place, will bring some jobs with that. Some of the other warehouses, they're building right now, several buildings over there that are businesses are going to move into. So we're doing well with that part of it. I wish it was faster, but we have an economy right now that's kind of making me a little nervous that way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You and me both.
Thank you, COVID.
Yeah. I don't know how much of that was COVID and how much of it's policy.
Thank you, government response to COVID.
Yeah, if government built COVID in a Chinese lab, we can just say thank you, government. As I like to say, government loves you.
Yes, they do.
So now, last time we talked about getting a new sewage plant built out in Grantsville. What's the forward momentum on that?
We're having the engineering done right now.
Okay.
We got to find the money to build it.
It's going to be a big cost.
Well, about 28 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
that's a lot.
almost a mandatory cost now. Grantsville can't grow much more with what it has.
That's the thing. I mean, if you look at the numbers we had in 2019, 12,700 or 800, whatever it is, and then you take the building permits on homes that were done in 2020, 2021, 2022, and then you have to use some of the government data from the census, which said that we had 3.7 people per household in Grantsville.
Mm-hmm.
So if you times that out, we're well over 15,500 people here, almost 16,000. And that I got to hand it to the guys who built the sewer plant to start with, that they had enough vision to build it as big as they did, because we would have been in trouble a long time ago.
Yeah.
And even now we have times when because our guy that takes care of that, Marcus, he just does such a good job, and he's making sure that it's staying where it's supposed to, and he does a lot of good professional work down there. I told him, I said, did you lose your sense during your sense of smell during COVID? He says he did a little bit, and I said, well, that probably benefits you in the long run. I'll tell you, we had a class the other day. I'm just going to get off subject a little bit. We went to a health department thing, and the guy from Summit County talked about he's in charge of the wastewater treatment in Summit County. That was one of the most fascinating classes I've ever seen and listened to, because he talks about people who the pharmaceuticals that go into the sewer, into the wastewater, is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And how it affects the fish population up there. It doesn't affect us down here, obviously, because we don't have it down there. But the fish population downstream from them, how the estrogen, the pharmaceuticals that come, the happy pills that get passed into there, and they were working with Baylor University, and the fish that were in this one controlled area where there wasn't any, pharmaceuticals that got added into there, they were good, but the ones downstream, they were a little messed up. And, so they talked about the reason why you don't have septic tanks, because that runs into the groundwater, which runs into the streams, which runs into messes with this thing. And so, I was talking to Marcus about that. And he says, oh yeah. He says, you can tell the pharmaceuticals that are in there really affect our sewer ponds. So when that, I'm going to have that guy come out and do a class for our planning and zoning. And when he's ready to do that, you guys need to come down and listen to that.
Let me know. That'd be an interesting class.
Yes, it would. To
hear about the fish that have a whole bunch of hormones in them, but they don't care because they also got the
happy pills.
The ski wax that they were. Did you hear that story last year about the ski wax up on the Park City banned it up there?
Oh
yeah. That affects the materials in that ski wax. They told them they couldn't use that because that affects, when the water runs off and gets down into the streams, it affects the fish all the way down.
I'll bet. Yeah. Wow. I'll bet that ski wax plugs up their digestive systems.
I don't,
I would imagine it would, because it's waterproof. So it probably stays in globules. And
that one I can't tell you, but it was an interesting class. So I want to make sure that our sewer treatment plant that we build is able to deal with pharmaceuticals and those kind of things that's going to affect us.
Yeah. So there's a special filtration system that we need in order to filter out those types of pharmaceuticals that we don't currently have.
Oh no, we can't do any of that. So
probably multiple filtration systems.
Yeah. So it's really life is becoming more complicated than we think.
Yes, this modern world.
And so what we're doing with this treatment plant is that we're going to build it a certain size that'll handle a certain amount of effluent waste, and then we'll be able to add on to it as we grow, and add on to it again as we grow. So this thing will expand with the more people that move here, so we can always make it bigger, better, faster. So
it's a good plan.
So it's going to be expandable. That's good.
What are the numbers we're estimating on for the initial build for capacity wise?
I'd have to, I got all those
poos can it hold?
That's
by weight, by length.
When you build a new house, okay, your sink, your toilets, your shower, all those things have certain requirements on them as far as how much water you can flow through that. And so not as much water is flowing into the plant, into our sewer ponds. The poo part of this thing is the weight of that is really going to affect us. But the water coming in, it isn't as much as it used to be with the old fixtures in your home.
Like those 1960s houses that you flush the toilet and it sucked 13 gallons to make sure it got down the pipe.
Don't do that anymore. And
those are the good toilets, though, folks.
Those are the good ones.
You didn't need a plunger. It got rid of it. And you couldn't hang wallpaper too close to the toilet. It'd pull it right off the wall.
But that it's just complicated that knowing that we have these new homes and their water usage is less than if that was built in the 60s, we would be using a lot more water now, which helps our water situation because they don't use as much. So the whole thing is really a benefit in a lot of different levels.
Yep. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I'm going to cough here. Hang on.
Yep.
So, that's coming. It's going to be here. We'll eventually get it built. We needed to push it into place, so bite the bullet and have it happen. The impact fees that we're charging can be used for a huge portion of this. So
yeah,
hopefully.
Especially tying in some ERDA to it, and
just that one airport.
Just the airport.
I'm not bringing anything else with them. So,
what's going on with the lawsuits that was happening with ERDA in Grantsville last year?
We're waiting for a judge to make a final ruling on the situation. ERDA City and Grantsville City, I believe, is working together very well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's not ERDA City that's suing us. Okay. And, suing the Blazards and all that, it's not ERDA City that's the problem here. It is, the other group. And so when the judge rules on it, we'll deal with it when it comes,
Yeah.
My personal feeling is this, if they would allow 6 Mile to stay in the county, not be part of ERDA, not be part of Grantsville, the Blasters would be fine.
Yeah.
And I would be fine. But no one will leave that piece of ground alone over there, And so.
I think there's a little bit of concern that, I think ERDA or 6 Mile watching it as a startup, maybe they're a little concerned that they won't continue to be able to operate the way they have with this new startup may have more demands. And I think that's concerned them. I'm not sure. I haven't talked to any of them. That's just a guy on the outside looking in.
Yeah. I'm going to see what all the ambulances are here.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
So is there, we'll cut you loose here in just a second, let you get on to mayoring, but is there anything going on down in Grantsville that people should be on the lookout for, or that you want to get information out?
Well, there's a couple of things. First of all, the building, the homes building, has dropped off pretty drastic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it really is more out of the economy than anything else. We're issuing about half as many building permits as we did last year. At one point last winter, we were at 20% of what we were the year before. So, I mean, it really has trended down. So the growth is slowing. There's some, gives us a chance to catch our breath and put some things into place to keep things where they need to be. We have a guy that is the inspector that works, the infrastructure inspector. He goes to these developments when they're putting in curb, gutter, sidewalk, trenches, all those things, and he is on those people about doing it correctly. And if they do anything before he has a chance to inspect it, and I've told him, I says, you're to have them tear it up, because you're to be there. It has to be signed off before they do any of that. This guy is going to save this city millions of dollars, and it won't take very long to do that. Okay, because he is making them build to standard, and that's a good thing for our community, you guys. That one guy is really a big deal. And I had a developer call me and was mad. We've never had to do this before. And I said, sorry, you're doing it now. And I'm glad that he is. And this is what I've told him to do.
You got to hold them to standards.
You have to hold them to the standard. We had to spend a lot of money on a road last summer. We had to give up a couple of road projects because we had to go rebuild a road that it's supposed to have 18 inches of compacted gravel underneath the road base and then 3 inches minimum of asphalt. There was about an inch of asphalt, about 6 inches of gravel, maybe. So it cost us a lot of money to build it, and we've already accepted the road, and so we're kind of stuck there. So that had to come out of our road funds, where we could have been doing other things with it. And so this Cody, he is on these people, and he's doing a good job. That is one of those bright spots that I wanted to do. I kind of campaigned on that, is to have somebody looking over those developers' shoulders. And right now he is. So all the new stuff that's going in, he's hammering them, and I like that. So.
Yeah.
And then we're doing the Summer of Fun kind of thing again this year. Every Saturday night, Grantsville, we're doing something in town. It'll, whether it's a movie in the park, whether it's a car show, Baca is coming down. They're going to cook some hot dogs for us, and give away free hot dogs for the kids during that car show. We went cruise Maine last year with those guys. That was fun. We just drove up and down Main Street in those cars. I was in that red Ford convertible. That was good for me.
Oh yeah.
So,
well, no, that's good. I like when you were doing that. That's excellent community building that you guys did down there. That's fantastic. That's how you build a cohesive city.
Hey, car shows are always fun.
Yeah, car shows.
Oh yeah.
The movie in the park for the kids, where people can take their what do you call them, tricycle motor age kids on a
Yep.
Saturday night and give them something to do. And
That
run
and
play.
food trucks. I love the food trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Our 4th of July this year is going to be big. Our car show that Bill and Tracy Strickland do for us, they organize and keep it going. That is one of the best there is. And that's a lot of fun. And the 4th of July in itself. And we're just the 4th of July. So last year we had Chris Fields flew the parade route in the park with a drone, and he has some magic way to do facial recognition. So he's not counting everybody twice. We had 42,000 people.
Well, Grantsville is, if you want to go see the idyllic town from, days gone past, Grantsville's where you go to see it. It really is that. It's
4th of July is a ball, man.
Yeah, it's got a rustic feel to it. It's clean, it's I don't know. It just feels like it feels the 4th of July down there and the fireworks show. It feels like you're stepping back about 20, 30 years.
And I'll tell you what, that fireworks show for the firemen, that's like Christmas in July for us to light those up. But we're going to do a Pioneer Day this year on the 22nd of July. We'll have it at the Clark Farm. We're inviting people to do that. We're trying to get places around town to have like a Pioneer Day breakfast, not all in one place, different places around town, so people can come out of their homes and go meet their neighbors, have a little breakfast with them. And, that way, if they need some help, they know who their neighbors are.
Bring a puzzle.
Yeah.
So and we did the light parade last year, you guys. I'll tell you that going through the town with that light parade, that's a lot of fun. You'll have to come and ride this next year in that light parade with me. Just get in the fire truck. I'll drive the fire truck. You guys get in it with me. We'll just kind of do a show as we go.
That'd be awesome. That really would. Just let us know. We'll show up. Let us know if you ever got anything going on.
I will.
We'll come down and set up a little show for it. We love doing it. We love the community aspect.
Well, if you got time for the 4th of July, come down and set up a little booth down there. You'd be able to talk to a lot of folks.
That'd be a good idea.
I think that'd be a great opportunity to do some interviews and go to the 4th feel the pulse of the society.
I've gone to the 4th of July in Grantsville all my life, even since I've lived up here, because, Grantsville puts on a good 4th of July fireworks show. We
do.
It always has. Now, I may not always be at the park, because sometimes it's kind of nice to go sit up on Little Mountain and watch it.
Well, when that's going off, there's lots of places up above, and our fire department's going to go up and shoot the fireworks for the Bit Spur this year as well.
Oh, are they? Good.
So we'll have that one's coming back this year, and the one in Grantsville. So the people who go to the rodeo and pay that price can have that show there, and people can watch it down the road. You can watch them from Grantsville if you go out on the south end of town, so probably see both of them.
Yeah. No, that's good. All right. You mind if we run through a few comments with you?
Sure.
All right. Grady says the new flag, the Beehive flag, doesn't go into effect until March 9th, 2024. It would be great to keep the Utah state flag flying until the issue is completely settled. And I agree with that. And that's per the language in SB 31 and the executive order, both March 9th, 2024. And then that comes from Grady Saunders. There is a push right now coming from the guys who want to keep the original flag, the blue one. And if you want to get involved with that, the referendum, there's a Facebook page. You can, of course, get a hold of me and I'll point you towards them. And, I'll gladly aid anyone in finding them if you want to support it. I don't know what you're feeling on down there in Grantsville about how the people feel about the flag change.
I haven't got there's a group that really doesn't want it to change to the new flag, and they want to hold everything off. And then there's a group they don't care. I mean, it's sort of like they're not huge on the new flag side of the world, but it doesn't bother them. I think they got so much to do that
they're not invested in keeping the old one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now me, I've invested in keeping it. That's why when I'm at the council meeting, it'll be sitting there behind the old flag will be sitting behind me.
Okay.
How do you feel about it, Jared? I mean, you seem to go back and forth a little bit.
You know what? I was totally about keeping the old one. And then when Bridger came in and told me the story of why McKay wanted to change it, it swayed me a little bit because he talked about going to a big national park. It was Mount Rushmore, and had a hard time finding our flag. And that sent me into kind of flashbacks of when I'd fly into the Savannah airport and all the flags are hanging along the ceiling. And our flag is bustled in there with 4 or 5 different Federalist flags, the blue style flags that came around right around the Civil War is when that flag kind of became a popular notion. And I thought, oh, okay, but I don't know. It lightened me to having the flag change, which I was heavily opposed to it. My issue is, and here's my one issue, and I'll stand by this, is I feel like something like that, something that has that big visual representation, I think that should be more of a democratic affair.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, it should be voted on.
And I think it should have been on a ballot.
Okay.
You know, because that's a big visual representation.
And I think you can use both flags. You can use, like in the council room where I have the American flag and the state flag behind me. I think you can do that as a ceremonial part of this thing. But as far as it can work both ways, you guys. So.
I agree. I think if it was done, okay, I think had they done it through the democratic process, even those that are against it wouldn't have argued it as much.
I agree with that as well.
But I think where it seems to have been done in a committee, I think that caused a lot of sour taste in a lot of mouths.
And I'm just gonna. This is kind of my philosophy on that. You should allow people to make the decision and listen to what their decision is. Sometimes the bureaucrats in our state, in our country, are really the ones who, think they're running the show, and it shouldn't be that way.
Nope.
But it really is. They don't have to answer to the people the way that elected people do. And so that's my, rub against all of that is that, don't do it in committees. You do it with the vote of the people, with the whiteout, everybody can see it.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is a complicated affair. It's one that I'm utterly interested in. And maybe that's because I have so much waiver on both sides of it, because I personally like the old style flag, but then again, I understand and kind of like the idea of the new style flag. But yeah, it's kind of a twister. I don't know.
Well, like I says, behind me in the council room, the old flag will be there.
Good.
That's what
All
we're
right.
doing.
Well, Neil, we'll cut you loose.
Thanks, you guys.
Thanks for coming on, Neil.
Thanks for joining us again. Always, if there's anything we can do to help you out, getting information out, let us know. Shoot us a message.
When we're ready to do some of those things we talked about, I'm going to give you a call, and you guys can come down and set up and be part of that.
Call
Please.
us for another Mayor's Minute. That was super fun to go see something going on.
Especially if it's at the waste management plant. I think
Dave would love to go
that.
down there to the waste management plant with you.
You know what?
Someone will need to run the show from here.
We're going to have to when we do that class, we're going to have to invite you guys down. I'll be sure to make sure you do that.
Definitely. I'll come to the class. I'd love to hear about that.
That is interesting as heck. I was fascinated with that. So,
yeah. All right, Neil. Thanks again.
You guys.
We'll talk to you real soon, and you have a good night, everyone. We've got an announcement to make after this, after we cut Neil loose, about the Hope for Life Foundation, a couple things like that.
Actually, let's separate the videos, and that way we can post them on.
Oh, okay. We'll
All
separate
the other
the
ones too.
videos. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Was there any other questions that anybody sent in?
Nope, nothing
Other
else
than the
came
flag?
in on that. Just the flag is the hot button issue. They're like, you're doing great on everything, Neil. We mentioned the flag, and people got stuff to say. So that's how content the flag.
It's a big deal. I mean, imagine if you could just switch somebody's state icon in a room full of people, and then all of a sudden, maybe it's like a butt. This is your flag. Here's your flag. Somehow it was voted in. It's a butt, and it's your flag.
Should have been.
What if
the democratic process would have been the way to handle this?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Agree completely. So
yeah. All right, Neil.
All right. Thanks, you
Shut this
guys.
down. Hey, thanks again. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.